many times in your life have you heard, "You're doing it all wrong"? That's not how you're supposed to wash the dishes. That's not how you're supposed to fold the laundry. That's not how you should cook that. Do your makeup or cut your hair, get dressed, declutter your house, find a date, raise a child, fix a marriage, comfort someone who has lost a loved one. You're doing it all wrong. Wouldn't it be great if we could reply to "You're doing it all wrong" with, "And how do you know? Are you God?" I was hoping I'd get a smile there, or at least a chuckle, because this is a little bit of a heavy sermon. And I don't mean heavy in the sense that I'm expecting you to listen to me for an hour. I mean heavy in the sense that it's a sermon that is meant to challenge you. Depending on where you are on life's journey, this challenge might be incredibly uncomfortable, or it might be the invitation you were waiting for, or something in between. I'm going to challenge you to think about how you do things now and whether you should be doing them differently. I'm going to kick off the challenge with a question. Are you doing it all wrong? Think about all of the things that happened to you this week. Were there any sticky situations? Conversations that were less than candid or cordial? Things that happened that weren't sticky or uncomfortable, but that were just downright awful, that left you feeling sick to your stomach, conflicted. I want you to think about that for a little bit. What happened this past week in your life? And don't worry, this isn't a pop quiz. You're not going to have to share any of your answers to this question. Just think about them. What happened this past week in your life? Now think about how you reacted in the moment. What did you do in that moment when whatever was taking place was happening? What have you done since then? Thinking about those situations or conversations, how do you feel now? I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think again. How did you respond to the things that happened in your life this week? When we're confronted with challenging situations and conversations, we respond in different ways, but in all instances, our responses are shaped by our experiences within our families, with our friends, and that we have lived through or created. Our experiences are shaped by our families, both birth and chosen, and the ways in which those families address conflict and anxiety. Some families never discuss feelings. Those are the "what happened at work or school today," and not the "how was your day at work or school" families. Some families are led by a person with an iron fist who thinks everything needs to be done a certain way or it's wrong. Those are the my way or the highway families. And some families, including multiple generations within families, well, they struggle with poverty, alcoholism, abuse. Our experiences are shaped by our friends and acquaintances too. We are the company we keep. The people that we choose to share our joys and sorrows with, that we choose to share our secrets with, that we spend our time with, influence our thoughts and actions. And our reactions are shaped by the things that have happened to us, like living in families that struggled with poverty and abuse, and the things that we have done, like saying unkind words or worse. Maybe we have suffered trauma or traumas. Maybe we have done things to others that we have regretted or that have caused hurt or trauma. Maybe we feel like we've fallen short or that we aren't enough. Maybe we thought we'd be the first in our family to not do something. And yet we've gone and we've done it, whatever it was that we vowed that we wouldn't, because we thought we'd be different, that we were different. Now, before you get the impression that all of your life experiences are negative or need to be, I want to say that I'm highlighting the negative experiences because it's the negative experience in life that typically make us angry or ashamed. When we experience negativity, someone says something bad about us or puts us down, or we feel bad because of a situation we're in. We don't have enough money to pay our bills, or we've done something that isn't good. we tend to do one of two things. We lash out at those around us, like the person who has wronged us, or we perceive has wronged us, or we go off. And by go off, I don't mean that we fire off a round of expletives, though some of us may do that. We go off by ourselves to binge watch TV, to stew, to tell ourselves stories about why the world is the way it is and how the odds are stacked against us. That doesn't mean we only have reactions that are binary. It's not only this or that. But we're more likely to have reactions that are emotional and have been shaped by our early experiences than we are to ask for help, to seek forgiveness, or to draw near to God. And that's where we're doing it wrong. When we try to handle things on our own, without God's strength and guidance and only drawing on our experiences, we're just asking for it. We're asking for it because we're human. We're beautiful children of God, but we're imperfect. With God in our lives, not just during the good times, things are different. When someone has said something hurtful to you, or you've said something, and you've been able to forgive or be forgiven, that's God's grace in action. When something bad has happened to you, or you've been terribly ill and have been comforted or recovered, that's God's mercy and God's healing in action. When you've been faced with a daunting task, something you didn't think you could ever do, and yet you've done it, that's God's strength in action. Now, think again about this past week. All of the things that happened and your reactions. And ask yourself, did I do it wrong? Did I rely on myself, or did I draw near to God? If you didn't draw near to God, that's the challenge, because to do that, you need to set aside your anger, set aside your shame, and set aside your insecurities. And when we do that, not only do we draw near to God, but that creates the space so that God can draw near to us. Have a blessed week. Amen.